भद्रं कर्णैभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Let us now pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, Thou abidest in all. Thou art all. Thou assumest all forms. Thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge, and bliss. Salutations unto Thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Let us close our eyes for a minute and try to feel the unchanging core or the essence of our being. Let us feel it as a steadily burning candle flame, and let us concentrate on that. That is the only sure existence. Everything else comes and goes. Everything else is uncertain. this flame of my true, unchanging, real nature. I see is consuming all appearances, all names and forms, all that changes. Let us open our eyes and feel the radiance of that flame spreading all over our personality and all around in the universe. Let us begin today's discussion with a prayer. Om Brahma me tumam madhu me tumam Brahma meva madhu me tumam Brahma me dhaya madhu me dhaya Brahmameva madhumedhaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May Brahman, the Absolute, be realized by us. May the bliss Absolute be realized by us. May we realize Brahman, the existence and consciousness absolute, which is also the bliss absolute. May we realize this absolute existence by purification of our understanding. May we realize the bliss absolute by purification of our understanding. May we realize that existence absolute, which is also bliss absolute, by purification of our understanding. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto all. The world that we live in is fraught with uncertainty. And till the about second or third decade of last century, that is about 1920 and 1930, it was thought that although our world is uncertain, the science gives us the exact, certain truth. That by proper thinking, logic, experiments, we will come to see what exactly the truth is. And this understanding was given a very big jolt, unbelievably strong jolt that made people think that the whole our awareness of the world, our awareness of I, our awareness of what we understand is all collapsing because the new developments in science were undermining the very idea of certainty. In principle, there is no possibility of things being certain because everything is really fraught by uncertainty. A great physicist, Heisenberg, he is credited with this discovery of principle of uncertainty that I don't want to go into the precise scientific definition of it, but what it means is that you can never have any measurement done with certainty about the position and the speed of anything. If you try to measure one thing accurately, you lose the other thing. If you try to accurately measure the position, you lose the velocity or the speed of it. So, both these things cannot be measured accurately. In fact, the very idea of measurement seems to disturb the thing that is measured. And what we actually end up measuring is only the disturbance. So that is how the things are uncertain. It is, you can see that, means at least you can understand this, that a simple experiment, when you want to measure, say, temperature of this room, now think of a thermometer. It has, say, mercury or alcohol, and then according to temperature it expands. And then it then shows you that that expansion or contraction is calibrated to give you on the thermometer what temperature it is like now. So, and it's, if you can have the exact calibration and all so forth, then you may really get a very correct idea of temperature. But now look at the fallacy. You set out to measure the temperature of this room and brought in that thermometer. Now the thermometer, for its measurement, that alcohol or mercury has taken some heat from it, and so to that extent, maybe very minute, to that extent the temperature has come down. So what you ended up measuring was not what you set out to measure. So this is something that is associated with all measurements, and therefore certainty is lost. You cannot tell anything with certainty. And it bothered really many scientists also to arrive at this bizarre conclusion that we cannot make any statement with certainty. We can only make certain that uncertainty is certain. What is this? Even one of the great founding fathers of modern science, including actually the quantum physics as well, Albert Einstein, he was so shaken by this idea. He tried all remaining his life to show that how uncertainty principle is not correct. And ultimately, when he could not show that, because the quantum scientists, they came up with very ingenious idea to show that all his thought experiments are not right. Thus, he actually fell back on God, saying that I don't think that God plays dice. I don't believe that God plays dice. But again, these quantum physicists raised the question, how do you know with certainty that God does not play dice? He might actually be playing, who knows? How do you know that he doesn't play dice? So, therefore, this idea that everything is fraught with uncertainty, initially for many years it was kept confined to microscopic phenomena, because the experimental origination was that, that the double slit experiment, as it is called, that an electron, if there are, say, two doors, if you can think, I have to pass, there is one door here, one door here. So which door shall I pass through? Well, I can pass through this door or that door. Can I pass through both doors? No, not possible that you can pass through both doors. It is, and then when the same thing is done for an electron, that okay, we have these two slits and an electron, which slit the electron will pass through? Uncertain. You cannot determine that. And because there is exact position of electron and the speed of that electron, both cannot be calculated simultaneously to great accuracy. And therefore, you cannot say which direction that electron will go, to this slit or that slit. And so, if you observe that electron and then you found it at the getting right into that slit, then you can say that, well, it is through this slit that the electron passed and not through that slit. But otherwise, you cannot really predict with any certainty how this can happen. It is later on, it was seen that even the macroscopic phenomena, the bigger objects in this world, they also are fraught with this problem, because as we moved in our world with newer equipment and new gadgets, new things, which were macroscopic as we handled them, but they were all with very microscopic, tiny parts involved in them. And then the problem of errors in them became unsolvable, really. When we had the big machines, and when something is not working, like the old computers, one computer, would occupy this whole room and would not be able to do even 5% of the functions that the modern small computer can do. So, if it is not working, then, okay, this wall has become defunct. You see what is wrong, take it out and put a new one in. Or, this electric connection has gone bad. Okay, cut the wire, solder it again, and then it will start working. Fine. Now, what happens in these modern computers, or even, the cell phones that you have, the smartphones, in that little space, so many microchips have been compressed. So many very little microcircuits are involved in it, that it is not like this that you take out one and put another. It is because it is all full of uncertainty, because of the inherent radioactivity that goes on in them, and so there are millions of tiny switches in that computer, in that small your magic cell phone, smart cell phone. And then we use it. It is certainly, as a device, it is a macroscopic device, but it has all these micro components to it, and one that radioactive molecule can interfere the function. Some switch that you didn't want to press would get pressed by that, and thus the functioning of it will not be possible. It will just go bizarre, wrong. So therefore, you will see this many times happening with your computers. Many times this happens, that suddenly something happens and the computer is shut down. It gets turned off, it gets blocked, it doesn't function. One computer engineer, or this might be this experience of many of you, if not all, that then if you call an expert, the expert tells you that, okay, switch it off and restart again. Shut it down and restart again. And then in most cases it will again start. It happens to most of these equipment because it is an unpredictable statistical phenomena, that when will that little radioactive molecule will break and hit that switch and affect its working, and so it will shut down. Then after that half a second, it is all again set right. You have to but again switch it on, turn it off, switch it on, and then it comes to life. Even about our internet services, when I call the provider, that, well, the internet service is not working for 2 hours. Okay, please remove the power supply. Well, now I am so used to it, I say all those things I have already done, still it is not working. Okay, then let me see what can be done. This is, why does this happen? Because of the inherent connection between the microscopic phenomena and the macroscopic phenomena, the world of the electrons and tiny objects, and the world that is observable by our eyes, felt by our touch, and so forth. That macroscopic world and the microscopic tiny world, they are not really very different. One drives the other. It is really, you see that is even in our own personality, we see that it is, suddenly you see a person behaving in an erratic way. It is normally would be behaving in a particular pattern. Okay, but suddenly will refuse to do something. will behave in a very, unpredictable manner. Most people really behave in unpredictable manner. You cannot exactly predict how that person will respond. Well, we can guess, but it is only a guesswork, a probability. That is what is the buzzword about it, that you can tell the probability of how this person will respond, but will not be able to exactly predict. There is that famous story of the genie. One man on the California seashore found a genie, and then the genie asked, "Well, come on, tell me what you want to do. I can do anything for you." And then this man said, "Well, how to keep that genie busy?" So he said, "Well, I have desire for long to go to Hawaii, but I am scared of plane. I cannot fly. And also I am too scared of going by waterways. So can you build a bridge from this the west coast somewhere, San Francisco to Hawaii, build a bridge?" So even genie thought that is a terrible task, how long it is. I said, "Well, tell me something easier, this is too much to build that big bridge." And this man said, "Okay, tell me what is in my wife's mind." And then the genie asked, "Okay, how wide do you want the bridge?" So the human mind, it is not always very predictable, what will this person do. And that is because at the brain level also that microchips are there, and therefore at what moment what will they release cannot be exactly predicted. How that will impact. Maybe you are just sipping coffee, and that may trigger something. You never know what triggered what. Coffee is a macroscopic thing, but then it may trigger something that is microscopic, and then it may in turn have an effect on the macroscopic world. So therefore, you suddenly will think that, "No, I am not going to the movie anymore. I had thought of going, but no, I am not going. Just, why? No, I just don't feel like that." That is how most people give answer. "Why? What happened?" "No, I don't just feel like doing it. That's all." It is, so this is the unpredictability even at the macroscopic level. Uncertainty is not limited to that. And then to demonstrate it, as it were, and to prove the absurdity of all this, a great Austrian physicist, Erwin Schrödinger, had proposed a thought experiment. Most of those experiments of that type, they are all thought experiments, because those things are not placeable in our laboratory and observe those. It is therefore a thought experiment. Erwin Schrödinger, he apparently had read Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads as he quotes them, and very correctly quotes them in his book, What is Life? In fact, that is a wonderful treatise to show the thermodynamical basis of our living. So, this is the thought experiment known as Schrödinger's cat, the title for today's talk. Of course, please remember, it is not that cat doesn't have any particular significance there. Any animal, you can have a rabbit or a skunk to replace that. Schrödinger's cat is that he decided to give this consideration to it. That let us have, say, imagine you have a cat kept in a sealed box. I am giving you a very simple version of it, that in a sealed box, but the cat has enough oxygen and whatever is needed in that box to survive. It won't die of starvation or because of lack of oxygen. All that is kept there. And then there is also a radioactive device. And there is a detector of the radiation kept right in front of that device, which in turn is connected to a bag of poisonous gas. All this is sent for a 1 hour trip in the space. Or 1 day long, maybe it doesn't matter, a day long trip in this space and to come back here. So now it is not certain when will that radioactive element will eject an electron, and then because of that it will get detected, and then that will release the gas and the cat will die. Now that detector is kept on just for 1 minute. Just for 1 minute. So what possibility, what chance that radioactive element has got to strike and get detected by that plate and thus release the poisonous gas and thus kill the cat. Now, if you have to tell whether the cat is alive or dead, tell me whether the cat is alive or cat is dead. It is till the spacecraft comes and then people there open it, and if the cat just pounces on them with a big loud meow, then you know that the cat is alive. Otherwise the cat is dead. But before that, how do you know? How can you predict that whether the cat is alive or the cat is dead? There is no way that you can predict it. It is alive and dead, both. Who knows? It doesn't happen that it will. You can predict it certainly. When you observe, then you are certain. Till you observe, you are not certain. This whole world at some level or other has this element of uncertainty pervading all our life. That is how the insurance companies work. If there is no uncertainty, no insurance company would survive. It is only because things are not certain. When will earthquake take place? When there will be fire in my house? When there will be flood? All these things being uncertain, and most of it, life being uncertain. We don't know how long am I to live, and so insurance company tells you, well, if you die now, what will happen to your kids and the dependents and all that? So insure, yes, pay the premium so that your children and all the dependents, they will have something to live by. And so because things are uncertain, people do go and buy insurance. So it is, all this is because the uncertainty is so pervaded in our universe. Nothing is certain except death is certain, and they say taxes are certain. It is. Otherwise, everything is uncertain. So, and yet it is a very crazy thing that we all crave for certainty. Although everything is fraught with uncertainty, we feel that there should be something certain. Something has to be, correct. And whatever I say that this is going to happen should happen. It is our idea of certainty is so much mixed with uncertainty. You will see that is why people love sports. Uncertainty. Who is going to win Super Bowl? You don't know what will happen. So that is, it is all the gambling and other things. You don't know all the predictions, who will win elections. Nobody knows. And so it is, this uncertainty is there in everything. In not only in the microscopic world, in the macroscopic world as well. And nothing can be predicted with certainty. Although when you perceive, when you observe, you are certain that this is what happened. But till then you are not certain. In the quantum world, since things are not easily observable, you do not predict. When you observe, okay, I saw electron here and I saw electron here, but then the path from which, by which this electron went from this position to this position, we don't know. Don't even ask about it. It was here observed, it was observed here. That's about it. Do not ask by what way it went from this to this. You can have various probabilities about it, but no certainty. It is not with our macroscopic phenomena normally that, okay, I could have gone out of this door or out of this door, but my way could be seen, that yes, here, yes, yeah, you went by this road. There is either this road or that road. Since you were going in this direction, I was sure that you went by this door, and so you were at every point, you were there on this path. So that can be said. But in quantum world, you cannot say even that. So this has a lot of implications to our life and philosophy of life. When these quantum discoveries started coming, actually even before that, the ideas about what is real, what is not real, they were making a lot of rounds in philosophical circles, and most disturbing idea was how to fix the cause of a thing. What caused what? Was very difficult to exactly pinpoint, because how can you rule out the other possibilities? Not exactly, you cannot say. So therefore, there was no way to exactly show, predict, or assume certain things. Only you can assume that things exist, that existence is primary, and thus the existentialism. And the name was discovered by Sartre, but it was, people say that it is the Kierkegaard, the philosopher. Kierkegaard was the originator of these ideas, that things you perceive, but it is perception comes after existence. You can perceive because they exist. So existence is primary. And this philosophy gave, rise to many novels, many of these fictions. It is that it caught mind of people that it is the existence, I exist, and that's it. That I exist, and so the observation is feasible, possible. So let me quote from, this is from Soren Kierkegaard. From his concluding postscript, it is, the quote says, "The subjective thinker has only one setting, existence, and has nothing to do with localities and such things. The setting is not the fairyland of imagination where poetry produces consummation, nor is this setting laid in England and historical accuracy is not a concern. The setting is inwardness in existing as a human being. The concretion is the relation of the existence categories to one another. Historical accuracy and historical actuality are the breadth of it." So that is a very important thing to say, that it is I am, that is what you are sure of. I see this at this place, at this time, and they are all secondary things that are all in the realm of various other constructs that you make. There is, you cannot really have certainty about it. What is this existence? I am. Don't attach anything to it, that then will not be anything certain. I am so and so. Not certain, you cannot be certain of that. I am so and so cannot be a certainty, because after a second you will not be so and so. So that is how these I am, that is the central point. And that is why you will see that in Vedanta, right from the ancient times, this has been taken as the foundation for inquiry. I am. That is the only thing that you can seek with certainty, be aware with certainty. I am. That is, because to refute it, again you posit another I that says that, well, I do not exist. Even to say I do not exist, you need an I. So that is why it is at the level of experience as well as at the level of theoretic postulation, the only certain thing, I am. Now the question is how to experience that I. It is also seen from another side, that okay, nothing is certain, but the creation is all uncertain, but there is something that is certain. Instead of calling that as I, some prefer to call it as God. It is all right, what the name you give doesn't matter. It is I or God. How to find that? That is the important idea. In all religions depend on that how to find that ultimate truth, the ultimate basis of our existence. And thus, you see, the very basis of all religions is the experience of those great teachers. Uh, they experience certain truths, and thus the people gathered around them to know how to get that experience for themselves. So that is how all religions came up. I am quoting from a great work by Swami Vivekananda, highly popular, and it is a wonderful treatise on how to practice these principles of yoga to get to that experience. And I quote from that book. It is right in the introduction of Raj Yoga book. If you go to the fountainhead of Christianity, you will find that it is based upon experience. Christ said he saw God. The disciples said they felt God, and so forth. Similarly, in Buddhism, it is Buddha's experience. He experienced certain truths, saw them, came in contact with them, and preached them to the world. So, with the Hindus, in their books, the writers who are called rishis or sages declare they experience certain truths and these they preach. Thus, it is clear that all the religions of the world have been built upon that one universal and adamantine foundation of all our knowledge, the direct experience. The teachers all saw God. They all saw their own souls. They saw their future. They saw their eternity. And what they saw, they preached. Only there is this difference. Up to this, Swami Vivekananda was telling that applies to all religions. Now Swami Vivekananda is telling what is specifically different about the teachings of Vedanta. Only there is this difference that by most of these religions, especially in modern times, a peculiar claim is made, namely that these experiences are impossible at the present day. They were only possible with a few men who were the first founders of the religions that subsequently bore their names. At the present time, these experiences have become obsolete, and therefore we have now to take religion on belief. Just take it for belief. Oh, Jesus was great. He saw God. Can we see? Well, no. Only Jesus could see God, not me, not you. We have to just believe and then follow to whatever extent we can his teachings. If we cannot or if we don't want, let us tweak them to our convenience and then follow those. So this is what happens in religions, that okay, that our founder had seen God, but that ends there. Now are we able to see? No. It was the one phenomena in the universe for all times. But Vedanta completely disagrees with this idea. I'll continue the quote of Swami Vivekananda. He says, I entirely deny this assertion that now nobody can see that. If there has been one experience in this world, in any particular branch of knowledge, it absolutely follows that experience has been possible millions of times before and will be repeated eternally. Uniformity is the rigorous law of nature. What once happened can happen always. The teachers of the science of yoga therefore declare that religion is not only based upon the experience of ancient times, but that no man can be religious until he or she has the same perception for himself. Yoga is the science which teaches us how to get these perceptions. So this is how we shall see, and then we'll have that certainty. Yes, now, yes, cat is alive or dead was uncertain. Now I see that the cat pouncing on me, so cat is alive. So you see the God, and then all the speculations are set to rest. It is possible to see God. That is the Swami Vivekananda's question to Sri Ramakrishna. He was searching for the answers and was asking this question to many wonderful preachers. Have you seen God? I don't want just the theories about it. Have you seen God? Have you perceived God? Have you experienced that? And when he placed this question before Sri Ramakrishna, the only person who could give him the direct, unambiguous answer, yes, I have seen God. I see God as I see you, only more clearly. And if you want to see God, well, I can show you also. It is not just limited to some individuals. Anyone who wants to see and is open to take up the path will be able to see. And in fact, that is the conclusion, the best conclusion that we can come to in our life, to see that divine reality whereby we will attain the goal of life, that is the bliss absolute, the knowledge absolute, the existence absolute. That is how in Vedanta the God is called by this name, Sat Chit Ananda, that is the existence itself, existence absolute, knowledge absolute, and bliss absolute. And this is what we seek in life, by realizing that divine, by experiencing that, all uncertainty will be over, all doubts will be finally set aside. We will have realized this truth in our life. Thank you, friends. Let us meditate for a little while on this true unchanging nature of ours. And then if you have any questions or comments, you are welcome to make them. Yes, please. Yes, Charlie.
The Buddhists, and I think also David Hume, compared the self to a whirlpool that's temporarily there and then it's gone. How do they manage to say that?
Well, that is the observation, and it is a correct observation as far as our temporal identity of the self goes. That we see that sometimes I am happy, so that whirlpool is like that. Sometimes you see I am unhappy, that whirlpool now is, it is rotating, so it changes, I am young, I am old, and all that. You see, this is how our temporal perception about I, changing perception about our I, is like a whirlpool. But there is the core that does not change. Even in a whirlpool, there is something that is in the center of it, and that is constantly there. So that is what is meant by true self. The other things, if you observe with Buddhist teachings, you will see that it is not that they deny the existence of the self, they deny the existence of the changing self. It is that is also not real. So that is what is meant by it. They don't make a statement with about this self, because as you make this statement, it becomes temporal, it becomes confined, it becomes limited, and so therefore essentially saying that self is such and such, it is defining it and thus making it limited. And the same ideas of quantum world apply there then, that then it is uncertain. You cannot say anything about it, real or unreal, so better forget about it. Yes, Tommy, what do you want to say?
Would an analogy of shifting reality, of experience, of suffering and pleasure at different times happen to justify the cause and existence of each other?
Well, that is how both of them are not real. Suffering, in some connection you suffered, with some other connection you were happy. So again, those same connections are not sure to produce happiness or suffering. That very connection which gave you happiness, in another circumstance, same connection may not yield happiness. So this is the uncertainty of it. The different circumstances that you see, the different connections, the pleasure, pain, and so forth, they are therefore, you can see that they are not real because of the uncertainty associated with them.
Like the wood and apple.
Okay, yes. Well, yes, Johnny.
I'm not sure if I've seen God, but I've seen angels with dirty faces.
Oh, okay, yeah, well.
My problem is I concentrated on the dirt.
You can?
I concentrated on the dirt. On
You,
the faces.
you can tread on the angels.
So, what would you say would be similarly an obstruction of seeing God?
That's true. It is an obstruction in seeing God. It is, therefore, you have to go over. It is the God, therefore, cannot be as such seen because of these obstructions. You know that song in the Wizard of Oz, somewhere over the rainbow, where rainbow is all the world of variety, 7 colors, there you will not find your dreams coming true. You have to go over the rainbow for that. Yes, you are right. You will see God. Otherwise, we are stuck with the dirty faces of angels. Yes, Raymond, you wanted to make a comment? Exactly. So you are correct. That is that it is only the changing patterns that one observes, and then they are momentary, so you cannot come to any conclusion about their true essence or existence. So it is if you see, for observing changes, you have to place them on an unchanging background. Otherwise, in comparison to what are you observing the change? So, if one penetrates transcending that these changes to the unchanging background of those, then you come to the understanding of it. Yeah. Yes.
I think of the mirages people experience. I've experienced them not on a desert, but people who born on a desert and get there and there's
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
And then the illusory experience of seeing railroads, two tracks turning into one when it gets a far enough distance. So I think all of we can't depend upon the senses, or at least vision, for any accurate information. And I think the knowledge, having absolute knowledge, is more reliable, more powerful than relying upon the senses.
Exactly. You have nailed the right idea, That was what even John was telling, that we see all these dirty faces of angels. They say what the senses show is just that. Swami Vivekananda therefore says that these senses are cheating us every moment, and yet we do not ever, question the conclusions arrived on the basis of that. It is, we have never checked the credentials of our senses. They keep on cheating us, and therefore, to arrive at the truth, one has to go over that perception brought to us by these sense organs. Yeah. So friends, I request Vishwanath to begin the offertory. I will tell you about many programs slated or actually inked for coming week. Here you have to remember, not only slated are uncertain, in the light of today's discussion, even the inked one could be uncertain. So it is the Tuesday and Friday classes will go on as usual in the coming week at 7:30 p.m. The Tuesdays, the topic is Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play. And on Fridays, it is Jnana Yoga. Coming Sunday, the topic is about Sri Ramakrishna and the West. On Wednesday, we have a celebration of Shivaratri Puja. That Shivaratri is the night of Shiva, the great night of Shiva. So it is observed world over in different ways. So we shall have a very small program at 7 o'clock. It will begin with our regular Vesper singing, and then there will be the reading about the significance of this holy night, and also there will be the chanting of Shiva's various qualities and the incidents depicted in his life. So you are welcome for that. And on Saturday, there is the program of the birth anniversary of Sri Ramakrishna. That is the birthday of Sri Ramakrishna. and the programs will start at 11 a.m. and will continue till 7 p.m. You can attend the whole program, or you can attend as much as you can. So right there at the donation box, there is this program attached also outside. If you see that at the donation box, you have the chance of putting another donation as well. It is so. Let us conclude with the closing prayer. There will be this arati, and then there will be soup supper. You are invited for both. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.